Time to talk about the real brand Coachella.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about Cannes Lions Festival that took place this past week in Cannes in France. Yes, I went to France. So why did I go all the way to France for an event? Well, I said I would. You see, last year I went to VidCon, and I ended up leaving VidCon early because I was so depressed about VidCon. And I ended up going to a Formula E race in Portland. And in my review for VidCon that year, I shared that I would just say, screw it, and I would go to Cannes Lions instead, which was an event that more and more creators were choosing to go to over VidCon. What I did not know at the time, though I did know that VidCon had been sold at the time, it wasn't until after VidCon they announced who had bought it. I did not learn until today that the people that bought VidCon also own Cannes Lions. We're not going into that. I'm not going into VidCon because yes, I did go to one day of VidCon as well this year. Why? Because I'm insane. But I will be doing a full video on the creator experience between Cannes Lions and VidCon and which one I think would be more worth it depending on what you were looking for. That'll be a whole separate video. This video is just going to be about my experience at Cannes Lions, okay, with the creator badge. Now, before I get into it, because I went with a lot of people and I was around a lot of different people that know me and have watched my videos, I had some people that I was traveling with that said if I said anything bad about Cannes Lions, they were going to be all up in my comments section saying that I'm wrong because it was amazing. And then I had people that were like, this is not for me at all. This is awful. And everything that I was like, oh, this is a positive, they hated. So once again, as always, I am sharing my experience and what I experienced. I will touch on some things that I was not physically there for, but overall, I am talking about my experience with Cannes Lions as an attendee with a creator badge. Okay? Also, caveat for this review, because normally I do not talk about parties and auxiliary events that happen surrounding an overall event review that I'm there to review. But the nature of Cannes Lions, I kind of can't do that because the things outside of Cannes Lions Festival itself that just take place in Cannes simultaneously surrounding Cannes Lions are a huge feature of the festival itself, whether they are controlled by the festival or not. And so I kind of have no choice but to talk about some of those things that I experienced while in Cannes. Lots of big things, okay? So let me explain Cannes Lions to you so that you know what we're talking about. According to Google, it says Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. At Cannes Lions, the advertising and communications industry meets to see the world's best work. It's where insights from iconic thought leaders, ideas from innovative companies, and inspiration from every corner of the creative marketing community come together. Expect a week of global networking, world-class learning, and benchmark-setting awards at the world's biggest celebration of history-making creativity. So I've heard of this for a few years. I have a few friends that have previously been to Cannes Lions, including my friend that I ended up bunking with who was a speaker this year, Coco Moco. She opened up her Airbnb to me for free. Shout out Coco Moco for letting me couch it with her this week. Last year at VidCon, because Coco was with me last year at VidCon, she was like, you have to do Cannes Lions. You have to. And she even encouraged me to not get a badge for Cannes Lions this year. I ended up obviously getting a badge because I was going to review the whole experience, but she was very adamant about the fact that you did not need a badge to experience Cannes Lions. And I met quite a few people this year who have been going to Cannes Lions for years, one of whom had been going for a decade, who has never once had a badge to the actual festival itself. And he still finds this one of the things he can't miss every year. Let's talk about the badge process for a creator badge. Okay, that's a little photo of me at the Chargers game. So like I said, this is a creator badge. I had to apply to get a Lions badge. It's like Lions creators within Cannes Lions type of thing. Okay, I do apply for this. Now, I didn't hear of anyone, nor did I see of anyone getting denied for applying. I do think the application process is just the extra step to make sure that you actually care and are serious about going versus just, you know, the, oh, I have this money, let me buy it type of thing. It sounds silly and counterproductive, but I do think that in a lot of situations like this, where this is a straight up business event, there's a party to it. Like I said, I didn't call it BrandChella for no reason. This is quite literally a festival in a lot of ways. But this is a work event. And I personally was there to work, but it's also that element of they want you to take it seriously. So I think that's probably why there's the RSVP actually applying for the badge itself type of thing. My ticket option was then for the creator's badge. It was about 1,400 euros, which came to about $1,600 US. That's a lot of money. I don't want to say that that's not a lot of money, but again, it's kind of the same way that I talk about industry events versus like fan events, a convention for Romantasy BookCon versus an author summit. You know, like there's going to be different types of things have different price points because they want it to be industry people. This is priced in a certain way because they want you to take it seriously. It's an industry event. The standard classic ticket I think is $4,000. So the creator badge is cheaper, and there are student options. I met a lot of people that had student badges. I believe you can apply for those, and I believe those are either heavily discounted and or free through your school. But I met a lot of people that had the student badges, and there is a whole element within Cannes Lions for students as well and student projects, which is great. So also, again, as I mentioned, like this is my experience. I did not see everything within this festival. It was feasibly impossible for me to do so. Not even just the things that I got denied from seeing, but there were just things within the actual festival itself that I was not able to get into to see or I could find. We'll talk about the app as well because the app, I have notes, but overall, I just want to make it abundantly clear, like I can't talk about things that I did not see or I did not hear about, okay? So there's quite a lot of people that were covering like the awards ceremonies and sharing things like that. So a lot of that is already online. If you would like to see that experience, please seek them out, okay?
Hello from Cannes. We just got our badges at Cannes Lions. We are on our way to start exploring, and I will be updating you throughout the day.
After getting my badge, I pretty quickly texted my friend, it's like peacocking central for brands out here, okay? From the moment you enter into the badge pickup zone to when you leave, there is carpet on the sidewalk leading you to the Amazon port. Amazon port. Okay, now this one I RSVP'd prior to it, but I believe there was an option to just RSVP there. That was the case for a lot of the offsite beaches. Though this was a part of Cannes Lions, this was not a part of the Cannes Lions bounds and all of that. So I had already RSVP'd for this because when you get your badge and you're logged in on the app, like when you pay for your badge and all that, they give you a bunch of options for experiences that are with Cannes Lions, but not with Cannes Lions, okay? So I was able to go and apply for a bunch of things. Some of them, it's just simply you are applying as an RSVP, like you give them your information so they can contact you later and they can send you a QR code, and that's kind of it. And then there are things that you are literally applying for that I also got denied for. Stagwell Sports Beach is one of those things. That's the big one. That was probably the one that hurt the most, getting denied from Sports Beach. That one sucked the most. Oh, Twitch is here. Perfect. This is the Amazon setup. This is Amazon Port. This is crazy. Inside Amazon Port, they had a bunch of stuff. They had a full coffee bar that was open the entire time. They had a cold brew spout on the wall. They had talks. They had stuff for Twitch. They had stuff for Wondery. They had stuff for Amazon Fire. They had it all. They had a stage as well, and they were having their own talks throughout the week as well as on top of the Cannes Lions actual like programming schedule. There's a lot of things like this where everyone kind of has like their own talks and things like that on top of everything. Again, it was boiling. Like it's so hot. I'm gonna say it was hot throughout this entire video. Pretty much all of the beach things as well, like the beach clubs, the Blank Beach, Google Beach, Amazon Port, things like that. They all did also night parties or night events that were separate ticketed events. Those are typically going to be you need to apply in advance, be invited in advance, or know someone who can get you in advance. Most of these I did not go to. Again, this was my first Cannes Lions. I had no idea how to go about this. I have a full different plan for next year when I go. But there was a lot of these things that are like extra things. Aside from the stuff that was in Google and YouTube Beach, I didn't do any of the other extra special stuff outside of like, hey, we're open for a free Frosé social and things like that, which was what TikTok was doing and stuff. Outside of the badge pickup was actually a dock that had a row of yachts parked on it. People rent these yachts for meetings for their marketing companies. Yes, I tried to go on one. The answer was always no, because I did not have a meeting. Overall, from the creator perspective, as someone who is, fairly business savvy and can talk my way through most things, okay? The overall vibe that I got from Cannes Lions, from the creator's perspective, is that Cannes Lions as an event is really embracing the creator voice, the creator involvement, the creator presence, and acknowledges the powerhouse of marketing that is the creator economy. And then you also have the brand side of things that isn't as willing to admit to that yet. I'm not denying that that's the truth. You can be mad at me all you want, advertisers. It's 100% the truth. Creators are a huge part of advertising dollars now. Consumer spend, the like. You don't have to like it. We have figured out how to market to Gen Z and millennials in a way that a lot of you have not figured out yet, and that's okay. We can work in harmony. It doesn't have to be why is my billboard talking to me when I talk to someone from a company? Because that's what I experienced a little bit this week, which I did find interesting. That was unfortunately the tone of quite a few of the talks that I went to within Cannes Lions or at a couple other places. And that was the experience that I had for a couple of creators that were not having the best time at Cannes Lions that spoke to me. A lot of their experience was they felt they were being talked at from brands about how to do their job when they would go to certain talks. Most of the talks that I went to that featured creators and things like that, it would be really hit or miss. The creator element would often be, par for the course, what I'm used to experiencing at literally any event that involves creators. And then there would be like this very weird, almost like, hostile is not the word, but it's like the best way to explain it. Like a toned down version of hostile. Apprehensive. Apprehensive feels like they're at least somewhat open to the concept. And it just, that wasn't even it. Like there would be so many talks I went to that would feature a creator and a brand that were just like, oh, you think we're here for you and not them. The main one I can point this to is the talk between State Farm and Kai Cenat. That was rough to watch. That was painful. I don't even like Kai like that. I'm not even a big fan of his, but everyone on that rooftop was there for him. They have a full creator rooftop now at Cannes, which is very cool. Boiling up there. Everyone on that rooftop was there to see Kai talk. Just Streamer University, huge thing that he pulled off. A true creator education thing where you can have your issues with Streamer University all you want. No one has been able to pull it off in that contained of a scale successfully yet. And many creators that have come out of there either have good stories that they can turn into content or they learned something. And that's not the case for a lot of these types of educational endeavors from creators. And so that alone, people are excited to hear him talk about that. And then clearly the person that was giving the talk thought we were there for her. And I was just watching Kai lose his enthusiasm while he was sitting on that stage. I have a lot of tweaks for the creator rooftop thing that I will talk about. I just wanted to make this note about the dichotomy of like the event really embracing creators and then other elements of the festival itself not. And a lot of it was the brand element or marketing companies specifically, which I just found very interesting. There was a few times where I know fairly certain that my creator badge got me auto-denied from things because there were people that I spoke to that had a classics badge that had similar applications to me, it seems, and they got approved, no problem. And so there was a few people that I know that were speaking on a few things and got denied because they happen to have a creator badge. Now, speaking off-site of not Cannes Lions itself, but speaking at different things. I do think there's an AI approval element to things, so who knows what it was that really triggered it. But the consistency I was seeing was the creator badge. So that's just something that I clocked and my experience, and that's what I'm sharing. Let's talk about the creator rooftop within Cannes Lions itself. So that's one of the reasons I can't talk at length about certain elements. Like I can't talk much about the awards. I wasn't able to walk through any of the award nominees for winners or anything like that because there was just so much to see and do all the time that to see everything was just basically impossible. But the creator rooftop, you go all the way up to the tippy top. When you walked up the stairs, they'd have the, check-in desk and things like that. And then they would have different little like square buildings, about 4 or 5 on the rooftop. In the middle was the big stage. They had YouTube, passes, Meta, the office for the actual space for the talks and the like. And then there was Like to Know It and another one, I think. This is on the brand side, not necessarily Cannes Lions side. You guys need to find a way to communicate that you want people to walk into these buildings. I get it. It's hot. You might have an AC going or something inside these rooms. But there was a lot of times where I was up there and I just thought everything was closed. And then I later found out that they weren't closed. People were inside there and they were like, hey, just walk by. And it's like, yeah, I didn't know it looks like like you're having a meeting. Like it was very hard to see when people within these brands, YouTube, passes, etc., wanted to talk with creators because everything looks all shut up and like closed. I don't know how to properly fix that other than maybe signs or like having someone that's just braving the heat and just chilling there trying to communicate. Sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't. The talk setup, I don't know how to fix this stage. The stage setup for the Creator Rooftop was like a very small stage, just only slightly raised. But because of the canopy that they had, which thank you for this, the canopy you had these giant pillars on the side of the stage. Fine if you had your speakers sit in the middle of the stage. Rarely did you have your speakers sit in the middle of the stage. Often what I would see is you would have them either off to the left or off to the right of the stage with the microphones in the seats so that the screen was visible on the wall behind them. Bad design choice. Change this. For the Kai and State Farm talk, this worked because they were actually using the screen to show slides and talk about the presentations and things like that. Normally when I go to a talk in the rooftop, the only thing the screen was being utilized for was the name of the talk and then photos of the people that were on the panel and then their names beneath them. A very easy way to fix this so that you can still have everyone in the center of the stage is put their names above their photos. We don't need their photos anymore. We're looking at them. Put their names above their photos so that you can still see the names and their ats and etc. But they should be sitting in the middle. It was rough setup.
I know it's going to be a good YouTube event when I can see the swag from afar. I have so many of the Creator Collective cups. I'm finally getting a tote bag. I'm a simple girl. I've been collecting all the tote bags this week.
Everyone talked about AI. Everyone. And as an AI hater, from an accessibility standpoint, I get it. Translation, proper labeling of things, captioning, things like that, which if AI captions were better, I would be way more on board, I think, with AI captioning. I did go to one talk that felt insane to me that I had to walk out of. It was just an outdoor space, so it wasn't a big deal. I did wander into a couple of talks. That's usually what I like doing with these events. I usually try and pick a few out. Unfortunately, a lot of the talks I picked out that I really wanted to go to were at Sports Beach. So couldn't go to those. I went to just this one talk, and it was clearly a bunch of talks on AI, and it was just the one woman that I saw speak was talking about how essentially, this is the Cliff Notes version, to make AI more diverse, we need to train it on more diverse data sets. Basically, we need to steal more stuff to train AI on more diverse data sets so that it comes up with more diverse options. It was all about diversity. Like it was fascinating. The quote she used was, as her lived experience as a heavily pregnant 33 CEO, AI would not make that for a CEO. And so therefore, we needed to train AI to be more diverse. Fascinating way to share that information. I disagree wholeheartedly as someone who makes content that gets stolen by AI, but you know, do you, girl power. I went to a few talks. I went to a great talk. Charlotte Stravrow, I believe is her name. I caught the tail end of her talk. She is a creator and an agency runner for working with creators. And she had a really great point about creators getting more expensive for brands to work with them. But that's because creators are expected to do more and have higher quality productions. And also on top of that, the fact of it's not a one size fits all when it comes to pricing for creators. But a lot of brands are not taking into account the creator's background, their audience data sets. Also, like a creator that also has a regular job is going to ask for more money if you're expecting a full-time commitment the way a creator that's a full-time creator is going to, like basically things like that. The money is not a one-size-fits-all just based off follower count and things like that. Like there's different things within a creator. If you want to work with this creator, you're going to have to meet them where they are type of thing, which was just great. And that was one of the, which I really liked her talk. I hope I am able to find the recording because a lot of these were recorded. Inside the Cannes Festival itself, okay, inside the boundaries, once you cross into security and all that, there's a bunch of activations. Red Note was in here. There's a company that does non-alcoholic drinks, Tanqueray. They are not here in the US yet, but they were a zero proof. They were making mocktails with their zero proof alcohol stuff, which was cool. Adobe was in here with Coca-Cola. There was a DoorDash thing in here as well. Inside as well was Reddit. I never actually made it into Reddit. I don't know if I was ever kind of able to make it into Reddit because I wasn't sure if it was only meetings and such. A lot of companies, you're going to see meetings only on the doors and things like that when you're in Cannes. And those are meetings that have, these are like the final talks. These meetings have been on the books for months for a lot of these people. That's not just creators. creators. That's like literally different heads of marketing and marketing companies working with these companies and things like that. So if you don't have a meeting, do not freak out. It's just not the part of this world that the creators are involved in, okay? Sometimes we are, but in this scale and this context, we typically are not. Meta Beach was in here. Tubi was here. Meta Beach, obviously inside. There were ways to get inside to Meta without a badge, but you had to have been pre-approved, is my understanding, to get the Meta wristband that would get you into Meta Beach. So that is one of those instances of you don't necessarily need a badge to get into the space, but you were not going to be allowed to walk through anything else unless you had that badge type of thing. These are like big setups or big beach setups where they literally built full like places. The Meta Beach was huge. They always had food. They had a drink fridge. I love a drink fridge. Thank you, Meta, for the drink fridge. They had merch every day. They literally like terraformed the beach to be able to build their Reels like half pipe setup that they did. They had giant Meta glasses within Meta as well. They also were doing talks and things like that. I didn't stay for most of these. A lot of these were just pitching elements or selling Meta ads and things like that. Either I don't do Meta ads, and a lot of the things they were pitching I was already doing. But Meta Beach, very solid setup. They had covered spots, uncovered spots, bunch of different activations, a good way to utilize the space in my personal opinion. And then Tubi was like above them on the main level, which I did hear they hate that Tubi is above them because people are always asking like, what's that above them? I never actually ended up making it into Tubi, but I believe they were doing screenings and then special talks and activations. Not that I couldn't make it into Tubi, I just never timed it right. There was a lot of things that I could have gone into, I just didn't get time to.
So me and my fan are at the Pinterest Manny Festival, and they have a ton of different activations. You can make a tin wallet. There's a Pinterest patisserie. There is a bunch of activations here and things like that. There's this whole wall of like, that looks like lures.
And the tattoos.
And there's tattoos.
It's a tattoo parlor.
It's a tattoo parlor. I will not be getting a tattoo, as I do feel like I would sweat and it would make me very uncomfortable.
Overall, if I had gotten into nothing else, I would have been pretty happy with Cannes Lions itself. Again, like I said, it's very cool to see companies and events really embrace the creator element when they have previously not been known for the creator element. This is only the second year they've done the creator badge, you know? So it's like, again, there's going to be growing pains, and there's going to be some things that are like a little awkward from the jump just because they're still figuring out the program and the like. As far as, you know, the actual like creator-based talks, my badge goes from the 16th to 20th. It goes the whole week, but like the actual creator programming ends on the 19th. So if you do want to leave, I ended up leaving Friday. Pretty much everyone that I was there with ended up leaving Friday. Whether they wanted to go to Saint-Tropez or go home, you know, it didn't matter. There is a big whole night event for Cannes Lions itself to like kick off the end of it and all. So if you would like to stay for that, you can. But there's times with events like this where I find that if I stay the last couple of days, it just kind of feels like being the last kid, the last kid still at school after the end of the school year. To each their own. Like, some people are gonna love it. I am one of those people where I'm like, I think it's time for me to leave. Party's over for me, you know, type of thing. Would I do the creator badge again? I'm not opposed to doing the creator badge again. I did talk with my team because we were talking about potentially doing the classic badge, but again, still new for the creator badge. Interesting to see what other creators would weigh in on this video with the creator badge as far as it goes to Cannes Lions itself. So would I do it again? Yes. Would I also be interested to see what a classic would get me? Yeah. Let's talk more about outside. So like I said, I mentioned Amazon Port, and then I mentioned the yachts. Those are all like a part of Cannes Lions, but not a part of Cannes Lions. Basically everything along the beach, if it was like blank beach or blank beach club, whatever, then it was technically an outside thing. Cannes Lions themselves has no real control, my understanding is this, over these things. Sports Beach was out here, Google and YouTube Beach was out here, Pinterest Manny Festival, Microsoft.
So the Brazil Tourism Board, I believe, is one of the sponsors, and they are basically doing like a music truck, and there is now like a whole crowd of people that is like joining them to dance with them. It's very fun.
And then inland, because there's all these gorgeous, stunning hotels. We got the JW Marriott, we got Ritz-Carlton, the Martinez, the Majestic. Those are also all being used in the same way that like the beaches. So that's where TikTok was at the Ritz-Carlton. Ad Week was at the Majestic. Female Quotient, I always like working with Female Quotient and seeing things with them. They were at the Martinez. There was a bunch of things like that, you know, that were along the beach. Okay, these are all things that are with Cannes Lions, part of Cannes, but are not with Cannes Lions. You know, I know there's got to be a better way to say this. Me having this does not just automatically get me into those things. LinkedIn is a sponsor. They had a separate thing that this probably could have gotten me into, but they also would prefer I RSVP'd separately. Adobe also had things in Cannes Lions and also separately. Like, it's things like that. But that's fine. But then we run the issue of what happened with Sports Beach. where their talks are on the Cannes Lion Festival website. This is the main thing that I'm going to get on you guys about, just because I think it's annoying. Because like there were times where I was like, oh, maybe I can still go to this talk if I just have a badge. No, can't. Get it off your schedule. I'm sorry, I get it. I get you want to promote it. I get you want to have those people on your speak, unless they're speaking on one of the stages that you guys have control over. Get it off. Get them off. Don't have them on there. Put that on Stagwell to promote that. I did end up getting a Stagwell sports speech badge. One of my friends had been invited and hates sports, has no desire to be involved in sports whatsoever. Wasn't even going to pick up their badge. That's how much they hate sports. And I was like, oh gosh, I really want to go in there. And so they went and picked up their badge for me. I did not end up using it because I like to work in this space. I do like sports. I want to continue working in the sports space and getting opportunities in the sports space. And I didn't want to run the risk of someone being like, who let you in here? Or getting photographed with someone else's name on my badge. So I did not use it. I am in the habit of talking my way into places. I am not in the habit of sneaking my way into places. It was very irritating, however, so that when I told people I didn't get into sports speech, they were like, wait, you didn't get into sports speech? That's awful. It's amazing in there. You have to get into sports speech. Crazy, diabolical, actually. 20th anniversary of YouTube, and they did a special creator collective in YouTube Beach, like one of the second or third night of the event. And this ended up being a big deal because this was the first brand edition creator collective that they did. This was, I think, the first one they've ever done in Europe was this one. But the reason they called it the brand edition is that they did this super cool thing where it was almost like labeled speed dating style, where your badge was if you were a creator, a brand, an agency, or a YouTube Google team member. And so that if you wanted to talk with brands, if you wanted to talk with an agency, or you wanted to talk with people at YouTube, you would know who they were based off their badge color. So obviously I have the creator badge color. This was also hosted by Amelia Dims. I did get to meet Amelia very quickly and told her she went on a date with my favorite F1 driver. So that was fun. But this was very cool. It was the first creator collective they've ever done, because the thing that YouTube hears the most is from creators is that they want the opportunity to talk with people at brands without a marketing agency in the middle or without our teams in the middle, and to breach that connection. So doing an event like this that YouTube was facilitating was very cool, which is what Cannes Lions can be doing as a whole. Another one that was really cool that I went to was one put on by MasterCard. Outside of the YouTube stuff, hands down the best talk that I went to for creatives was at the MasterCard Villa. In that, it was the one that was very clearly aware of embracing creators, but also making sure creators knew the chain of working with brands and the like. So basically it was like an hour talk, an hour workshop. First 15 minutes and questions were people from a marketing agency, 3 people. They would do moderated questions, and then they would open it up for Q&A, like 1 or 2 questions from the crowd. And then they did people high up at companies. So we had MasterCard, L'Oreal, Smirnoff, okay, talking about it from that perspective. And then they had people from the agency perspective of working with creators and doing that as well. And then they had all of them stick around and do a mingling session afterwards. And then there was more, but I left before that. Hands down, probably the most valuable talk I went to. I'm not even kidding. YouTube, I can talk to those people anytime. This information, fantastic. Best talk I went to. What was the company that did the marketing thing? 'Cause I think they mostly put it on. Creators Next, presented by Interpublic. And then the people that were like, Crystal was the one doing the moderation and everything, and the people actually putting it on and the marketing people was McCann Content Studios. Great job. You guys did a phenomenal job. Sorry a bunch of people behind us got up when the CAA guys got up there. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Sorry, tangent going back. Because I asked when it was the people that were at L'Oreal, MasterCard, and Smirnoff, I asked about, partnering with brands and how, from my perspective as a creator that has represented myself and also has worked with management, I often find that when I'm talking with brands, they only see me as my follower count, or I'm just a billboard, as I've mentioned. And it's like, why is my billboard talking to me? And I asked them how often they are talking with creators, how often they are actually working directly with creators, and if they would like to continue to pursue that avenue and things like that. And one of them mentioned that sometimes creators are not even getting coffee with people high up at brands unless they are being paid. That they would love to continue to do actual building of foundations and working with creators in this way. But sometimes creators won't even get coffee with them unless they're being paid to get coffee with someone high up at a company. Which one of you? This is why people hate working with Gen Z. Like, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding. I do think it was probably someone from Gen Z. But like, also, Are you serious?
I love building long-term connections with brands, you know, like I love doing a long-term contract and bigger deals and things like that. And I would rather that not be very transactional, which it seems like is like the norm right now. And so that's crazy to me that some of you won't even get coffee with someone at a brand to like talk about your content goals and what you would maybe want from a brand partnership. That's crazy to me. Oh, Female Quotient, incredible talks the entire time. They always had drinks and ice cream and things like that. It was cool. Great talks. Got to meet Shelly very quickly. Who's the head of Female Quotient. I met Olympians this week. Like, it's great. Like, that's one of the things that is really cool about Cannes is you're just like around people. I met athletes. I met Olympians. I met actors and actresses. I met people that are like the pinnacle of my industry. I said hi to Alex Cooper real quick. You know, like I met Amelia Dims. Like that's not even just like inside the things, like just walking Cannes, going to restaurants. You just see people. They're eating at the table next to you. It's crazy. I met people high up at companies. I met people at Substack. I met people at Beacons, which is like, they're literally my link in bio. Like I met people from so many different industries and products that I already use and already talk about and stuff, which is just really cool this week. And there's so many people that I didn't get the chance to meet. That's another reason I'm going to go back. This was really cool. Like there's no other way to explain this. Okay, so let's talk about some of the after parties and things like that. I went about this wrongly, in that I just bought my badge and was like, I RSVP'd for what was listed on the site, and I just kind of took what the no's is no's and the yeses is yay, let's go type of things. I should have approached things differently, in that I should have reached out to everyone that I know that I have contacts at other, like I should have just reached out to someone at Spotify because I have contacts at Spotify and been like, hey, I'm gonna be at Cannes Lions, what are you guys doing? I didn't do that. So I didn't get any of the Spotify stuff, because everything was full, is what it is. TikTok got in very easily. They had a few fun things, which is cool. They kept doing Frosé socials. The Frosés were often always melted because it was so hot. All the AI stuff is annoying. No one can convince me that me not using AI is going to somehow damage my brand. Like you really just can't convince me of that. It's not going to happen. YouTube tries. Sometimes other creators try. I'm good. The problem with AI things now, I feel like, is there's not even an ability to opt in. It's like the trying to figure out how to opt out, because all these companies are just kind of making these AI products and kind of forcing them onto you in a way that is incredibly annoying from a creative perspective, as well as just a user perspective. A lot of your products are just annoying. So many of things that I'm not bringing up are just because like there's so much. It's very overwhelming. I'm sure my take from next year will be it'll probably be night and day. I'll probably have a very different experience. I spoke to a lot of creators that know me, that I've met and I bumped into. Either I didn't know they were going to be at Cannes, or they knew I was going to be at Cannes, or whatever. And a lot of them either had great experiences or horrible experiences because they don't like this particular type of event and things like that. I'm an event chick. I will try anything one time. I will go and experience anything one time. I'm used to putting 20,000 steps on ballet flats. Okay, I can handle quite a bit. And a lot of my friends are not like that. So a lot of my friends did not enjoy themselves, or like I said, felt like they were being talked at about their own job, which is not something that a creator likes to hear. It's very hard for me to take you seriously as an authority in a space when you don't even see the value that I have in the space or anything like that as a creator. So that's one thing that I experienced and I heard a lot about from a lot of other creators, unfortunately. It's not always fun when it's like, creators are important. And then that's what the other experience is, like the other side of the coin is like kind of being talked at and things like that. Like, you have value, but only in the balance of what we say your value is fascinating. Again, I don't know if I'll do Creator Badge next year. My whole team, my management company, is talking about maybe doing something and bringing more creators out next year. Very interesting that the company that owns Cannes Lions actually owns VidCon as well. Different takeaways, different thoughts for a different video. But overall, I had a fantastic time. I really enjoyed it. YouTube always does great stuff. Google always does great stuff. YouTube also always feeds me, with I always make a joke about like I'm nicer to events that feed me. So shout out to also the Rooftop, Creator Rooftop, for always having food or something at least available. And that's really going to be it. Have you ever been to Cannes Lions? Have you ever heard of Cannes Lions? Are you surprised I went all the way to France for an event? What is your take on how advertisers think of creators, whether at Cannes Lions or otherwise? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. Reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder to check out my Girly Pop Go channel if you'd like to see more car and motorsport content. And shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you'd also like to join channel memberships, you can go ahead and click join down below. If you'd like to follow me on all my social media, that'll be all of here. And that's going to be the hell of the day. Goodbye.
like 6 days of stuff.